All right, time for another pen review. And today we're going to be looking at the Diplomat Viper. This is a pretty cool pen. I've kind of held off on buying this pen just because I wasn't sure about the nib. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. But overall, we'll take a look at the body. This is etched. It's kind of like like a snake skin, thus the Viper. And I thought they did a really good job with matching the accents. You got your clip and your finials and the band, and then the barrel itself. So this is textured. It's not super smooth, but I mean it's smooth enough. But in other words, it's not like inside of a resin. So I really like that. It's pretty straight till about you get to about here, and then it tapers down noticeably. Then you have this the body finial there, and it's just kind of flat, smooth. Then on the cap finial, you have the Diplomat Maltese Cross ink drop Maltese Cross, and then you have this peaked clip. This is definitely a different style for Diplomat, but you don't have the regular Diplomat clip. But I think the clip on this one really fits, and the tension is very tight. Very tight. So, using your finger and stuff to get it over you're going to have to use it to get over your shirt pockets. Yeah, it's really tight. Looking at the band, it says Diplomat and Diplomat. Why they did the second Diplomat on the back here, I'm curious, is because their other pens don't do that. For instance, on the A2, Excellence A, you have Diplomat, and then on the back, here you have Made in Germany, and then on the arrow, you have Diplomat and Made in Germany. So why they couldn't have, just put Germany? I don't know. Why Diplomat twice? Just put once, if anything, or write Viper on the back. I don't know. Just kind of one of those things is curiosity to me. This is a magnetic cap, and it holds on there fairly well. I mean, it's not going to slip off. There's a couple of times where I actually was able to start, sometimes you forget whether they're snap caps or magnetic, and then you start twisting it off, whatnot. Anyway, I started actually unscrewing the barrel. Anyway, you have just kind of a plastic insert, so you got your magnet there, and then you have your grip section and your feed, and there's your little Viper nib. This is anodized aluminum. This is aluminum body, and you have that chrome band there. It can be slick. Let's put it that way. And then this, when you're rubbing it like this, there's not a ton of grip on this pen. And so if you don't like slick grips, now some people may find this not slippery. It's like I had the arrow out. It's like the same, it's anodized metal or aluminum. And so that's one of my issues with the arrow is the grip section is kind of slippery, but with the arrow, there's somewhat, I wouldn't call it grip, but texture there that helps with that, plus the size, your thumb's right here on the band, or the step down. And, so It's a little easier. This doesn't have much to grip onto here, you know, the band there on the step down. So, but as I was writing with it, you know, just to be fair, it wasn't that bad. So, but it is kind of slippery, like I said. It's just like, so if you're familiar with the Aero grip, it's that same kind of feel. And the reason why I wasn't too sure whether, if I wanted to buy this one, is because of the hooded nib. I'm not a fan of hooded nibs, and I'm going to compare this to a Jinhao before too long. And so, yeah, just because it's hard sometimes to sense the orientation of the nib, and so then you're getting it all off, you know, upside down. Not quite that bad, but anyway, I'm really not that crazy about it. I did email Diplomat and say, you know, why couldn't you have put just a regular nib on there? But you know, and they answered back. They wanted to keep it with a Viper type of theme, which I understand. I mean, that's like the tooth of a Viper, right? This pen only comes in a what they call a fine medium, but I think it writes more like a European fine. Open it up. Take standard international cartridges and converters. Now this one, usually Diplomat has a stamped logo on there, and but on this one they didn't do that, so I don't know why. It is a if you look at their website, they say that the cartridge or the converters may look a little bit different, but then when you look at the standard international, and I did try standard international. Oh, sorry. I did try standard international in this pen, and they do work. You know, the regular standard international. So there is a slight difference in the design of the nibs, or the converters. So I don't know if this is more of a new thing. Maybe all the other standard internationals are going to start going to that design, or what. This pen comes in 3 different colors, as I'm sure you're familiar with. It comes in the black. That was the first one to come out, and then it came in a blue. And I'm glad I waited, because when it came out with this one, I thought, ooh, yeah, I gotta have it. The black would have been my second choice. The blue just looks toyish. You know, I don't know. The black and this brown look cool and classy. Will this pen post? Yes, it does. And it posts securely, and it posts comfortably. It's not back weighted at all, because it posts pretty deep, right about there. So come down to there. Yep. So it posts nice and deep. So it's not sticking way out here like a Lamy or some of those other Trisbee and that. This is a steel nib as well. One of the benefits too about the posting is that if you line it up with the nib, then it will help with your orientation. This will show you where the nib is. The body length on this pen from nib tip to body finial is 127 millimeters. Capped, it is 140 millimeters. Posted, it is 147. So only 47 millimeters difference, or yeah, 20 millimeters difference as far as uncapped, but so it's not bad at all. The body girth right here is 12.5 millimeters, which I think is really good. The grip girth, right about this middle area here, is I'm going to call it 10 millimeters. So it goes from about 10.5 down to just where the bottom of the feed there, right about there. There's 7 millimeters, so 10.5 to 7, so around 10. That's where I typically hold it, right about there. The weight of the pen, the body, is only 21 grams, and total weight is 30 grams, thanks to the aluminum body. Alrighty, so how about we do some size comparisons? Alright, here we have a Diplomat Viper, Diplomat Excellence A2, and a Lamy Safari, a Visconti Mirage, and a Diplomat Aero. Here they are uncapped and posted. A lot of variation there. Alright, how about a writing sample? Alright, we have the Diplomat Viper fine medium, but it writes like a fine, like a European fine. Let's see, the ink is Diplomat Caramel. And this is that Octopus Fluid Inks. They made it for Diplomat. It is a smooth writer. Even on the upstrokes, it's not too bad. And wet enough for a fine, I would say. Reverse writing. Does a good job there. Extra, extra fine. And it keeps up, so there's no issues with hard starts, skips, and I really didn't find orientating this pen to be too hard. Let's see. Fast writing keeps up. So anyway, you know, it is a nice writer. It is a nice writer. I'm glad I got it. Okay, how about some final thoughts? All right, what do I think about this Diplomat Viper? The price is one of the things I liked. I didn't mention that at the beginning, but it retails for around $96 on, as far as I know, on all your mainline online retailers, which I think is for Diplomat and good construction. I think it is really nice. The drawbacks would be only one nib tip size. Now, the only reason I can think of that they would just stick with this is that putting a medium or even a broad on this pen might take away from the sharp Viper tooth that they're trying to keep with the theme of the Viper pen. And so without going all the way to a fine tip. So kind of pleasing those that like mediums, but, you know, keeping that on there. So keeping that pointedness. Another drawback is the slick feel. I'm really not a fan of the anodized metal grips on this or the Aero. To me, they are just, they're too slick. The texture here helps a little bit. And like I said, once I'm writing with it, it's really not too much of a problem, but it is a drawback for me. And as with hooded nibs, sometimes it's easy to inadvertently rotate the nib around to where, it starts getting more feedback and the flow's a little bit worse. The positives is the overall design. The price was one. The overall design is really cool. It's distinct, and I like that. I like distinct designs. And it is when the nib is oriented properly, it does very well. If you like the Parker style of nibs, that hooded nib design, this really fits the bill. So overall, I like it. I'm glad I bought it, and it will be in my rotation. All right. Thanks for watching. Check out these 2 videos, and you have a great day.